lessons involved, contracts. Welcome back to Pisces TV with Dr. MB. This is a finance reading for you Pisces, Sun, Moon, Venus, and Rising, wherever Pisces may fall in your chart or in your environment. Keep in mind, tarot is entertainment. If it does not resonate with you, check some other aspects of your chart. As we get started with the reading, just want to say I appreciate all of my returners for your continued support and my newcomers. Thank you for taking time out with us today. Get comfortable. You can check the description box. A lot of information there. Many contests, winning, giving things away, selling things, and teaching. My tarot courses and business consultations can be booked through Etsy, which the link is in the description box. And without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. Be sure to check the community board for all of the daily specials, alerts, and the agenda. So if you hadn't subscribed already, that's a plus, so that you can get those notifications and know when we're having contests and what we're doing. What's so crazy, right? I couldn't wait to get that out. I just had to rush it out. What's so crazy is this Eight of Cups was sitting here. I was minding my business. We did the noon live, okay, so we went live with some general energy. We did the love reading, and so now getting into finance, I appreciate how they're all kind of feeding off of each other. If you hadn't checked out those videos, you might want to do that, especially the 2 truths and a lie for those of you dealing with love, you know, in your relationship. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, so if you watched, I forgot now if it was the general reading or the love reading, but we talked about the shadow aspect of the mountain. And this is crazy. I promise, like, that's why I said I should have just turned the camera on. But you guys know when I do the icebreaker, I like to shuffle out the cards to see where we're going with it, so I can get an understanding. And as I sat here, I shuffled out 3 cards as usual, which are right here. Okay, so just FYI. But I sat here. I'm going to read from the guidebook. I did not look into what the card means, but I noticed the shadow aspect of the Eight of Cups, which I mentioned, and I don't think I ever have on the channel with this deck. And I said we couldn't see the other side, like how you get there and the path, right? But we see the broken glasses. That's what I said specifically in the last reading. So to shuffle out, or for this card to even exist, the mountain, which is not the shadow side, and there's like this, you know, something within, right? That fiery energy that we also saw in the threshold card. And we're going to go ahead and get started with this, but I wanted to point that out because there may be a lot of synchronicities here. Even the 3s, right? If you're into numerology, I shuffled out 2 cards. We have the 5, right? And then the number 1, right? How's the Magician there? I don't know. So let's go ahead and get started with, first of all, intuitively what I felt. And also those of you that are interested in the extended and where this goes, the link to Patreon is below, okay? Wow. So we have the mother, the mountain, the orphan. Cool. Intuitively, looking at the mountain, I feel like it's that other side of the Eight of Cups that we discussed. When I looked at the mother and I saw the eggs in the basket and like this warm, you know, rope, or for some of you, it looks like, you know, a snake now that I see a snake head. I think about this untapped potential in the Page of Pentacles that we saw before. I also saw comfort, the nest, nurturing, but I felt the Mother of Wands, right? And then I have, you know, the snake around the eggs and the snake around the orphan, okay? Kind of like intertwined, interlocked. And we have the number 1, we have the number 5. And so if this were like IV in, what is that called? Roman numerals, that's 4, right? I think that's 4. So anyway, not to get too deep into numbers, I thought there was no coincidence that we have the mother, the orphan. Because the mother is kind of like without child here, since everything is like pre-birth. And then the orphan, I mean, usually the orphan is like without parent, And notice the little flower here. So when I think of the flower, I think of the Empress. I think of the Queen of Wands. I think of the Beauty and the Queen of Cups. Just that queen energy. Is it the orphan that grows into the queen energy? Or is there something about a return? I don't know. We're going to get into it. Oh my God. I get so tickled. I'm kind of getting used to it. A little bit. I'm kind of getting used to it. If you are a subscriber here on Pisces TV, you guys get all kind of ring, ring, ring. You know, this could be for you. So here we are. I'm going to start with the mountain because it came out first, and then when I shuffled out the other cards, these two came out next. But I sat them like this because I don't know, they felt to be that way. So with the mountain, we have the ascent, the peak, the insurmountable. Okay, the mountain stands eternally in our awareness, calling us toward its peak. It stirs up stoic and regal feelings, reminding us of the long line of spirits, sages, satyrs, and gods that made their humble thrones within its snowy peak. Beware though, as the mountain can affect us in two ways. It can inspire and enliven us to rise to new heights and peak experiences, yet it can also create isolation, competitiveness, and an inflated sense of self. Doesn't that sound like the light and the shadow aspect of the Queen of Wands? Maybe. We also had the goddess Kali Ma come up last week, and I know that's a very protective energy. And also a very loving, supportive energy, as well as a very destructive, badass energy. And not bad as in bad, but like badass. Everybody likes Kali Ma. So anyway, we have standing upon its heights can activate the purest and the perfectionist in us, creating separation from those we deem to be below. No matter how high you ascend, remember that it is within the core of the mountain that the gems, minerals, and jewels reside. If you think it's all about going up, you're following the fool's path and missing the minor magic, the miner's magic. So isn't tarot all started with the fool and the fool's path? I don't know what the wild unknown, they think they're above tarot, honey, but it starts with the fool's path. However, it says, you know, if you think it's all about going up, then maybe that's why we have the deviation tools to kind of let us know when it's not all up, or to remind us, you know, of something within the journey. So that's kind of cool. Grounded and uplifting. When out of alignment, it's daunting and isolating. Okay, so research mountains. Find one that strikes you and stare at it for a while. Where is it? The pilgrim may be awakening in you the summit calls. Now y'all gonna think I'm making this up, but I saw, bam, I knew I saw it, and I was like, wait, it's not gonna be talking about no pilgrims. But this is 20, and so 20 in traditional tarot does talk about judgment. And I was thinking about Archangel, which one is it? Gabriel, in one of our readings over in the judgment card. And here it is. I said if that judgment card comes out, I'm just going to flip. And it didn't, but there is our 20, right? So discernment. And here we go. Contemplate Joseph Campbell's suggestions. You are the central mountain, and the central mountain is everywhere. So you are everywhere, Pisces. What does that mean for you? Now let's go to the mother. And I want y'all to keep up. I know it's sometimes this gets really, really good, but I also take a practical approach to it, and you can with me too. So we're just going to go from the guidebook and then kind of put it all together. With the mother, it talks about the great mother. And I sometimes have associated the grandmother with the moon, and we have been talking about the shadow aspect, of the mountain. All right. And then the orphan could be, the moon's separation from the earth, which would make it like moon empressy kind of energy. And then the orphan, the child, is kind of like the star. When I saw the 5, I thought of the Hierophant. And then I thought about how in those creepy movies and stuff, how usually orphanages were ran by religious groups. So like someone who doesn't have parents or belief, you know, kind of just falls into a category of whatever someone else says. So in reference to your finances, it's kind of just be mindful, from what I'm seeing, of your beliefs, of your own actions, who you think you are and what you think about life. And then I also feel like attraction, where you don't have to work so hard to kind of like get up this mountain or around this mountain. The fire is kind of like within. And the Mother of Wands, even though it didn't say which mother, I felt the Mother of Wands, and you can take from whichever you may. But the Mother of Wands is just an energy of comfort zone, nurturing. And it's giving me this vibe of, you know, working smart and not hard, or using what you have, those in your environment, to kind of do a teamworky kind of thing, where as you go along your path, you know, helpers, the things that you need will kind of be provided, because that was the story of the Fool card in what is that, the Brady deck that I got from Denver. I remember the big ass bird in the tree and the little bitty blue raven kind of feeding it, and it talked about how the bird was left there, and the raven just appeared and without even questioning it helped the bird, and then the bird itself didn't have any trust issues, didn't question it, didn't ask, you know, who are you, where are my parents, why am I here? Everyone just went along with the situation. So that's kind of like the energy of, if you're a religious person, how they say God takes care of children and fools, associated with the Fool card, or just knowing that, you know, everything happens for a reason. So with the Mother, it talks about creative, nurturing, and glowing. This is the feminine aspect and the source. So here we are, source energy. So through her sensual, fertile, and life-giving energy, all creations take form. Regardless of our birth story, each of our hearts beat for the first time in the warm womb of the Mother. When she offered resources from her body, and I did see the offering, I saw all of these cards in my shuffling. When she offers resources from her body for the building of our own, yet her tale, or tale, not spelled like tail, but her tale is not simple like her story, as the Mother, especially on the earthly plane, contains both light and dark aspects, said that, of the feminine. With the best of intentions, the Mother wraps her loving arms around her creations and begins to grip what she meant to set free. The Mother both nurtures and prohibits growth. Didn't I talk about Kylie like that? Like, protective, but, you know, she from what I've read, from what I've read and what I feel, is kind of like that protection can kind of go overboard sometimes. But prohibits growth sometimes. So nurtures and prohibits growth. So just be mindful of that, you guys. She gives yet clings. She creates yet resists. And resistance did come up for us, as well as the creative energy of the King of Wands. So amid the complex energy, the Mother holds the key to the eternal challenge of love. And the Lovers came out in the outcome of our general reading. So the Lovers also talks about the duality of self, the inner, the outer, the light, the shadow. And it's a part of the trifecta, the maiden, mother, crown energy. Because of the relationship between them, take special note when these cards appear in a reading. So we will check for that in the extended. And then when we go to the orphan, which we have the number 5, the wounded child, the abandoned, the beggar. So we got 6 of Pentacles, we have 4 of Cups, we have so much. The study of the orphan is to study the deep and challenging energy of our time. We are ever more connected, yet face collective isolation. So again, another isolation. Okay? Dual isolation here. So I can't wait to take clarifiers for that. It also talks about the refugee crisis haunts our planet. Children are separated from parents. and the earth begs for our attention. We are in a time of universal orphanage of nature, of each other, of our own hearts. So the refugee, in fact, that we all share this core wound and dilemma. Okay, stars, right? Stars, star seeds, the age of Aquarius. When it appears, take time, real time, to be in the present of the feelings this card stirs within you. Let it humble you. What are you starving for? What is the deepest gift you could imagine given to others? What has been rejected, and quite possibly what is most needed? So it talks about deep acceptance, deep love, and deep solace. And then when in dark, it talks about distance, voids, controlling, and limiting. Okay, so oh my God, that is so good. When it comes to the star tells us that everything that is meant to be will come into being. When I think about the star, and I think about the separation for the star between the earth and the moon, right? Because on earth, we see the stars at a distance, and as far as like the outer world, the atmosphere, for us here on earth, they see us at a distance. So there's this energy of separation. So these cards are kind of drawing in for me things that have been abandoned, our commitment level, our perseverance, losses that we've taken. And some of you that are listening to this video, I feel there's an energy of inner wounds when it comes to you, your energy and your soul, like not being a part of whatever cosmic collective we were as souls. And something about your experience here on earth, you naturally have this, you joke about it, because I posted in the community board not too long ago, but we often joke about living on a deserted island, or you know, the house that I posted in the community board, and I was like, would you do this? And they was like, when you just fed up with everybody, and it was a little house on the corner of big land with nothing else. So it's kind of like solitude and isolation, but not from this need. Sometimes you need that to think and get things together and plan. Other times it's kind of like dealing with issues and not knowing where it comes from, and then it mirrors or reflects into your life, you know, where there's no isolated issues. You may feel like something isn't fitting, like you don't fit, like you don't belong in your beliefs. Maybe it's always been this way. Maybe you're kind of like, I don't want to say black sheep, but on the outside of tradition and family. Others of you, it's kind of like maybe it's been an uphill battle, if not really bad with finances. It's just that maybe you've been helping people when it comes to finances, or been in need of help. Because like I said, the Hierophant being the giver, the Six of Pentacles, where there's the giver, the beggar, the philanthropist, and I'm looking at this orphan, you know, with this kind of like handout. I don't know if it's nurturing that is like being asked for here or required, or an energy of like give and take, being overly protective. And you know, we saw the shadow energy where this is kind of like she's covering her eggs, her pentacles possibly, and then here is the hand out. So I don't know if there are any codependency issues when it comes to finances, if it's our goals, aspirations, and dreams we're nurturing, or if this is like more of a cosmic message talking to my star seeds on your energy and how your energy kind of like mirrors into your physical life. But we're going to talk about it. And if this is where we leave off, definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in. All right, I hope to see you on the other side. Namaste.